This lesson is about major scales. Now, when I was a teenager and learning guitar, I was really sure that scales were some sort of evil invention made up by music teachers to make children hate music. At least I was pretty sure that was what the deal was. It wasn't until I was in my late teens that I actually figured out that scales were really useful. So what I want to do in this lesson is kind of encourage you to get into the major scales and explain to you how they work and why they're kind of cool. So the reason that we learn major scales, or scales in general, I'm going to use the major scale as the topic for this, is because they give us a group of notes that sound really good in a key. Now, without going into too much detail, a key is a group of chords that come from the same scale. So if we look at the key of G, say, which we'll use for this example today, the chords in the key of G are G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp minor 7 flat 5, so you don't have to worry about too much because it doesn't get used very often, and we're back to G again. Now, the G major scale fits over all of those chords. So whenever you see a song that uses that group of chords, you can improvise, i.e. make up a solo, using the G major scale, and it will sound really cool. Now, a couple of good examples of some songs that you might want to try this out over would be Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton, which has the chords of G, D and C. Mostly, I think it goes to an E minor at one point and to an A minor, but that's the basic chord progression, and all of those chords are in the key of G. Now, I rang Eric earlier and said, look mate, I'm going to do this lesson about the G major scale. Do you mind if the guys just practice doing solos over the bits where you're singing? He said he was completely cool about it. So if you want to check out the song Wonderful Tonight, go and buy a good Clapton CD. Don't download anything. Then you might want to practice just soloing, like put the track on and use this G major scale to solo over the top. I'm going to run through with you how to play that solo at the scale in a sec. Another really good song is a Pink Floyd song called Wish You Were Here. That's another one that's a really good one. All of the chords are in the key of G, so you can again use G major for that. Even a lot of Chili Peppers songs, funnily enough for such a modern funky band, a lot of Chili Peppers songs are also in major keys. The one that springs to mind is the Zephyr song, which is actually that one's in the key of C, the verses. The gonna get my hand to right on, A minor, G, E minor to going to F. That section is all in the key of C. So, the next step for you before you start improvising is actually to learn the scale. Now, I'm a really big believer that you should learn one scale position first and get really good with that one first. Be able to actually improvise with one scale shape before you go learning a whole series of them, because there are 5 at least in each key. So 5 different ways of playing G major scale. So what I'd recommend is you just do one first, which would be the position 1 G major scale, which would be down here at starting with your 2nd finger on the 3rd fret, this one. Now, all of these are on my website, which is www.justinguitar.com. So if you go to the chords and scales section and go and check out the major scale and check out position 1, there's a nice little neck diagram there. So have a go at learning that scale, just playing it up and down. Try and concentrate on making nice small movements with your left hand fingers. If I just play it for you 2 different ways, often people have a lot of movement like this, fingers all over the place. Doesn't look anywhere near as even try it as if I do it that way. Yeah, so definitely try and keep your left hand finger movement small. As far as your right hand goes, you should practice your alternate picking when you're playing the scale up and down. Although in the next couple of lessons, in part 2, I'm going to show you through all 5 positions. But remember, you've got to get one down first. So practicing making solos up with one position first before you start doing all 5. Really important. However, you might like to take on the part 3 of the major scales, where I'll give you a bunch of different exercises in order to get the scale from sounding like a scale to sounding like a solo, because it's one of those ironic things where you spend a lot of time learning a scale and then you spend the rest of your time trying to make it not sound like a scale. So I'll see you in a minute for part 2. To start off with, just get down position 1 of G major scale at the 3rd fret and have a go at playing it over the top of Wonderful Tonight or Wish You Were Here. Have a bit of fun with that, and I'll see you soon for part 2. Take care.